Okay, he has written his autobiography, so he's written about his life there. All right, so the lesson starts from here. When I failed, this is a part of his story when he shares his story that there was a time when he had also failed. Okay, so his story inspire us a lot. डॉक्टर एपीजे अब्दुल कलाम की कहानी हमें इंस्पायर करती है कि जब हम फेल भी हो जाएं, कभी भी हम नाकामयाब हो जाएं, तो हार नहीं माननी चाहिए. वी शुड नॉट लूज हार्ट इवन इफ वी फेल एट सम स्टेज. ओके, कभी जो काम करते हैं वो कभी ना किसी स्टेज पर फेल जरूर होते हैं, बट फेलियर डज नॉट मीन कि आप रुक जाओ. यू जस्ट कीप मेकिंग एफर्ट्स. तो चलो देखते हैं कि अब्दुल कलाम कब कहाँ पर क्या फेल हुए थे. जल्दी जल्दी पढ़ूंगा मैं, ध्यान से देखना, और जो हार्ड वर्ड्स होंगे उनका मीनिंग मैं आपको साथ साथ बताऊंगा. इन माई लाइफ मीन्स अब्दुल कलाम लाइफ विच हैज बीन लॉन्ग एंड इवेंटफुल. उसकी लाइफ काफी लंबी थी, काफी लंबे जिए थे वो. एंड आई हैव सीन ग्रेट हाइट ऑफ सक्सेस. अब्दुल कलाम ने बहुत, मतलब हम बच्चा उनका आज नाम जानता है. ही इज आल्सो नोन एज मिसाइल मैन. ओके, सो उन्होंने ऊंचाइयां छुई, सक्सेस की ऊंचाइयां छुई. आई हैव बीन पार्ट ऑफ वेंचर्स. वेंचर्स मीन्स जो भी कह लो जोखिम होते थे या अंडरटेकिंग होती थी या जो बड़े काम होते थे. ओके, उन काम में वो पार्ट रहे, उनका कंट्रीब्यूशन रहा एपीजे अब्दुल कलाम का. दैट हैव कंट्रीब्यूटेड टू द ग्रोथ ऑफ नेशन. जिसने देश की तरक्की में कंट्रीब्यूशन दिया, योगदान दिया, जैसे कि इसरो में, डीआरडीओ में. ओके, सो ये कुछ है. डीआरडीओ क्या है? डिफेंस रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, जिसके वो चेयरमैन रहे, जहां पर उन्होंने काम किया. उसके बाद इसरो जो है वो सैटेलाइट बेस्ड काम करता है, सैटेलाइट भेजने का काम करता है, स्पेस रिसर्च का काम करता है. तो उसमें उनकी मिसाइल्स की वजह से ही पॉसिबल हो पाया कि हम अपने रॉकेट के हेल्प से ही, हम रॉकेट साइंस के हेल्प से ही अपने जो सैटेलाइट से वो लॉन्च कर पाए. राइट. So in the field of science and technology, I have also had the privilege of occupying. Privilege means it's saubhagya tha. It's a fortunate thing. Okay, privilege of occupying the highest office in the country. It means highest office in the country is president's office. Means वो हमारे देश के president भी रहे, राष्ट्रपति भी रहे. Okay, there are many achievements to look back upon. तो कई ऐसी अचीवमेंट्स हैं जो वो याद करते हैं, लेकिन इन अचीवमेंट्स को वो क्यों याद कर रहे हैं? क्योंकि वो बताना चाहते हैं कि इन अचीवमेंट्स पे मैं ऐसे ही नहीं पहुंचा हूँ, हमेशा मुझे कामयाबी नहीं मिली है. ओके, सम ऑफ माय ऑन डूइंग, कुछ मैंने खुद ऐसे काम किए जिनमें सक्सेस मिली. एंड सम वेयर आई हैड द प्रिविलेज टू बी द पार्ट ऑफ टीम्स. कुछ काम उन्होंने टीम में किए विच वर इमेंसली टैलेंटेड, जो कि उनकी टीम बहुत ही इमेंस, मतलब ह्यूज, बहुत ही बड़ी टैलेंटेड टीम थी उनकी. यस, आई फॉर्मली बिलीव दैट unless one has tasted the bitter pill of failure, मैं ये मानता हूँ, firmly believe means strongly believe, firmly means strongly believe that unless one has tasted the bitter pill of failure, अगर किसी ने नाकामयाबी की कड़वी गोली ना खाई हो तो तब तक वो सक्सेस को टेस्ट नहीं कर सकता. One cannot aspire enough for success. I have seen both sides of the coin and have learned life's toughest lesson. और ये लेसन वो हमसे इसीलिए शेयर कर रहे हैं ताकि ये बच्चे पढ़ें, आज का यंग जनरेशन पढ़े, और वो अपनी नाकामयाबी से they should not be discouraged by the failure. Okay, if they get the failure at any stage, they should not be discouraged. This is what he teaches us. So he has seen the both coins, both sides of the coin, means he has seen the dark side and the bright side. He has seen the failure, he has seen the success. Okay, means both sides of the coin he has seen. When I have shared into the pit of despair that failure brings with it, these lessons are well worth recounting and remembering, as they have helped me walk my way through many difficult situations. The meaning of immensely means huge. Daksh, immensely means huge, big. So as they have helped me work my way through many difficult situations, means वो बहुत सारे difficult situations से अब्दुल कलाम को निकलना पड़ा. One of the earliest such episode, so बहुत सारे एपिसोड में से he can recall one. Okay, he just recalled one. उनको एक इंसिडेंट याद आता है, वो कौन सा था? What was that incident that अब्दुल कलाम remember? उनको कौन सा याद आता है वो हम बताएंगे. Okay, what is that? When I was a student of aeronautics, when I was a student of aeronautics at Madras Institute of Technology, MIT में उन्होंने काम किया, MIT से उन्होंने स्टडी की है एरोनॉटिक्स की. एरोनॉटिक्स मींस स्टडी ऑफ स्पेस. Sorry, aero means air. Means it is related to the science of practice of building flying aircraft. Okay, building, practice of building or flying aircraft, right? It is about that. So the institute name was MIT, Madras Institute of Technology. Madras is now known as Chennai. My design teacher there was Professor Srinivasan. Srinivasan नाम का उनका एक professor था, who was also the head of the institute. Once we were placed in teams of 4 students, just like those teachers do. They divide you into groups when they give you projects, so they divide you into different groups. Okay, there may be 5 students, 10 students, 7 students. It depends on the type of project you are being handed over to you. So the students, each of our team had to design a low-level attack aircraft. So what was the project? Low-level attack aircraft that was to be designed. Okay, so all the groups were given this project. I was in charge of coming up with the aerodynamic design. Okay, aerodynamic design means that is a streamlining. You might have seen that to cut the air, a special design is given so that it can cut through the air, and it can save energy, and it can the speed can be increased by giving proper design. Okay, so we worked very hard. We means Abdul Kalam and his group. Okay, for many weeks, 4 weeks means for many weeks. Okay, weeks means for many weeks. My teammates were designing all the other components like the propulsion means to push something. Okay, propulsion, structure, control, and instrumentation. Instrumentation, as you might have seen inside a aeroplane or any aircraft, you see some instruments inside like compass or other speedometer kind of things. Okay, so these are other instrument like radio, etc. Those are called instrument. Since our other coursework was over at the time, we spent long hours discussing. After completion, they were discussing. Okay, discussing our ideas and researching them. We were all keen to impress our professors. Okay, whenever you make a project, why do you make that? To impress your teachers, right? So every student does that. So every student wants that every student wants that whatever he prepares should impress his trainer or his coach or his teacher, okay, or his professor, right? With our project. So they kept an eye on the progress. They means the professors. They means who was keeping an eye. Keep an eye means nazar rakhna. So who was keeping an eye on the progress? Obviously professors. And after a few days, Professor Srinivasan asked to see the design I had created. Okay, so Professor Srinivasan was the head. So he wanted to see the design. Okay, so when I showed it to him, means when Abdul Kalam showed it to Srinivasan, so he examined with his characteristic critical eye. थोड़े ध्यान से देखो, अरे क्या बनाया है? So I stood by, मैं बगल में ही खड़ा था, by waiting with bated breath at to hear his verdict. Verdict means फैसला, the final decision कि वो क्या कहते हैं, yes or no, अच्छा है, बुरा है, क्या कहते हैं, appreciate or he is going to condemn or he is going to comment. Okay, comment means तारीफ करना and condemn means बुराई करना. Okay, so bated breath मतलब सांसें थाम के वो रुक के सोच रहा था कि अब क्या होगा. I still remember the way his eyebrow crinkled as he looked at the paper spread out in front of him. The paper was spread out in front of him, means paper उसके सामने ऐसे था, and he was looking very critically, और उसकी eyebrow बार-बार ऐसे move कर रही थी, means he was examining it very seriously, right? So what happened? I still remember the way eyebrow crinkled as he looked at the paper spread out in front of him. Then he straightened up and his next words stunned me. फिर उसने सीधे होके खड़े होके सीधे आंखों से सामने से देखा और उसके शब्दों ने मुझे स्टन कर दिया. स्टन मीन्स अमेज, हैरान कर दिया. ओके, मीन्स सरप्राइज कर दिया, right? Stun me. This is just not good enough, Kalam. इतना काफी नहीं है, Kalam. This is not enough, he said. He turned stern eyes. Stern means strict. Strict eyes on me and continued. I expected much better from you. मैंने तुमसे बहुत better expect किया था. This is dismal. Dismal means निराशा, disappointment. Okay, this is dismal work. Okay, below standard. So this is dismal work and I am disappointed that someone with your talent has come up with work like this. तुम जैसे talented बच्चे ने ऐसा बनाया, I can't believe it. So I stared at the professor dumbfounded. Dumbfounded means बिल्कुल ऐसे हैरान. Dumb वैसे मतलब क्या होता है? बिल्कुल शब्द ही नहीं जैसे. Sometimes it might have happened with you. The teacher ने आपको डांटा और आप बिल्कुल कुछ बोल ही नहीं पा रहे हो. You have no words to do, say something. You are speechless. Okay, that kind of. So dumbfounded वहाँ पे उसको देखने का. Stare means to look at somebody continuously. किसी की तरफ ऐसे घूर के देखना. That is stare. So I stared at the professor dumbfounded. I had always been the star pupil. Star pupil means the favorite student. Okay. The star pupil in any class and had never ever been pulled up by a teacher for anything. कभी डांट ही नहीं पड़ी थी. Okay, so he was very embarrassed. This feeling of embarrassment. Embarrassment means yes. Embarrassment means उसको शर्मिंदा महसूस हुआ. Okay, embarrassed feel हुआ. And shame was a new experience for me. इस तरह की शर्मनाक इंसिडेंट होना, इस तरह की बात सुनना, उसके लिए बहुत ही नया एक्सपीरियंस था. एंड आई डिड नॉट लाइक इट वन बिट. वन बिट मीन्स इतना सा भी मुझे वो अच्छा नहीं लगा. नॉट अ बिट. अ बिट मीन्स इतना सा भी. जब हम कहते हैं ना इतना सा भी मुझे अच्छा नहीं लगा. सो आई डिड नॉट लाइक इट वन बिट. द प्रोफेसर shook his head. Professor ने सिर हिलाया and some more and told me that I had to redo the entire design. The very first thing he said, redo your design. The very first thing, redo your design. Second, starting from scratch and rethinking all my assumption. Okay, इतना तो मैंने सोचा ही था कि अगर पसंद नहीं आया तो दोबारा बनाना पड़ेगा. Will have to redo my design. But I agreed shamefacedly. शर्मिंदा वाला फेस लेकर मुझे हाँ भरनी पड़ी. Okay sir, I will do that. But then he broke the next bad news. That was unexpected. The first was expected. When you have not done your work well, so it is very much expected or very much expected from anybody's side that you will have to redo it. आपको दोबारा से करना पड़ेगा. But what he was going to say next? What was the next bad news? So that next bad news was, not only was I supposed to do the work again, I had to finish it in 3 days. How many days? Only 3 days. And today is Friday afternoon, young man. I want to see a flawless configuration drawing by Monday evening. Means today again it is Friday, so you have to complete it by Monday. And flawless means there should not be any mistake. Flawless means कोई mistake नहीं होनी चाहिए उसके अंदर. All right, no mistake should be there. Clear? It was second news, but third news was also pending. Okay, now yes, third news was also pending. First, redo your task. Second, accomplish it within 3 days. And third thing, I had to finish it. Today is Friday afternoon. Young man, I want to see flawless configuration drawing. If you are unable to do so, your scholarship will be stopped. This is the third bad news Kalam heard. Okay, I was even more dumbfounded now. The scholarship was the only way I could afford, because he belonged to Abdul Kalam belonged to a very poor family and he could not afford education without scholarship. So stopping scholarship means he would have to discontinue his studies. Without it, I would have to stop my studies, my own ambitions. Ambition means desires. The dreams of my parents, my sister and Jalaluddin flashed before my eyes. सब मेरे चेहरे में घूमने, मेरे दिमाग में घूमने लगे सबके चेहरे, कि उनको पता लगेगा तो वो कितना उदास होंगे, कितना डिसअपॉइंटेड होंगे. जिनको मुझसे उम्मीदें हैं, ओके, उन सबके दिमाग में मेरे चेहरे घूमने लगे. So and seemed to recede to a distance. It was unthinkable that future could turn so bleak with a few words spoken by माई वर्ड्स, कि मेरे प्रोफेसर के कहे हुए कुछ शब्द मेरे फ्यूचर को इतना डार्क बना देंगे. I had never thought so. Means Abdul Kalam had never thought so. Okay, so I got to write, I got to work right away, determined to prove myself. अब मैंने ठान लिया, अब अपने आप को प्रूव करना है. I have to prove myself. So I skipped dinner, remained at drawing board through the night. पूरी रात लगा रहा काम पे, dinner भी नहीं किया. Where earlier the components of my design were floating in my head, मेरे दिमाग में डिजाइन घूम रहा था, and now they suddenly come together and form and shapes I could work with. अब मेरे दिमाग में डिजाइन बन चुका था, and that I had to draw. Okay, the concentrated work I put in seemed to brush away all the cobwebs of the mind. Cobwebs मतलब दिमाग के जो जाले हैं वो सब साफ हो जाना, मतलब दिमाग में आइडिया का क्लियर हो जाना. Okay, if there is something suspicious or some doubtful, if some doubts are there on your mind, तो हम कह सकते हैं कि मेरे सारे डाउट क्लियर हो गए. सो इट ब्रश अवे कर देना, मतलब क्लियर कर देना. cobwebs of the mind यानी दिमाग के डाउट्स. ओके, ब्रश अवे मींस दूर कर देना, cobweb of the mind मतलब दिमाग की डाउट्स. ओके, by the next morning I was walking like a man possessed. बिल्कुल पोसेस आदमी की तरह, पागलपन की तरह, जुनून की तरह, पागलों की तरह मैं इस काम में लगा हुआ था, जैसे किसी पे भूत सवार होता है किसी काम को करने का. I took a short break to eat and freshen up. फिर मैंने थोड़ा सा ब्रेक लिया, खाना खाया, and went back to work again. वापस काम पे लग गया. By Sunday evening my work was nearly complete. An elegant, neat client. Elegant means very stylish. Okay, elegant means very stylish, very different from others, and I was proud of. मुझे इस पे बहुत गर्व था. While I was putting my final touches to it, I sensed a presence in the room. So when I was giving final touch, so I noticed that somebody is around me. So it was the professor. Who was it? It was my professor Srinivasan. I didn't know how long he had been standing there. Sometimes we are engrossed with our work so deeply that we do not notice the presence of somebody around us. कई बार हमें पता नहीं होता कोई हमारे पास कितनी देर से खड़ा है. Okay, because we are so busy with our work. We are so engrossed with our work. Now as our eyes met, जैसे ही हमारी आंखें मिली, he came forward, वो सामने आए. He looked critically at my work for many minutes and then he stood up and smiled. To my amazement, he hugged me affectionately. Affectionately means बहुत प्यार से उन्होंने मुझे hug किया. Okay, मैं बहुत हैरान हुआ. Patting me on the back, शाबाशी दी. He patted me on back. He said, I knew I was putting you under immense pressure when I rejected your work the other day. मुझे पता था मैं तुम्हें प्रेशर में डाल रहा हूँ, पर तुम काम ही प्रेशर में करते हो. Okay, I set an impossible deadline yet. मैंने तुम्हारे लिए एक impossible deadline दी थी, but still you have met it with work that I can only call outstanding. इस काम को मैं कह सकता हूँ that it is outstanding. You have done it outstandingly well. That's great. Keep it up, boy. As your teacher, I had to push you to your limits. मुझे तुम्हें push करना है ताकि तुम अपने limits को बढ़ाओ. Just like Gaurav sir is doing with you. आपकी English की एक limit है अभी. So Gaurav sir also wants you to push your limits so that you can increase your vocabulary, you can increase your vocab, your grammar knowledge. Okay, so you can push your limit. जितना अभी आपका दायरा है, जितना आपने 7 तक सीखा है, उसको 8 में और ज़्यादा push करना है. You have to increase your dimension, your circle. Okay, limits. You have to increase, push your limits. Okay, so that you could recognize your own true potential. ताकि तुम अपने potential को पहचानो. Okay, after 2 days of extreme dejection means nirasha, those words were music to my ears. वो शब्द मुझे सुनकर बहुत अच्छे लगे. Okay, Saurabh, where you are confused, beta, I'll give you last 5 minutes. Wait a moment. So those words were music to my ears. वो मेरे कान में ऐसे पड़े जैसे कि म्यूजिक बज रहा हो. तारीफ सुन के किसको मजा नहीं आता है. Okay, everybody enjoy, if somebody is appreciating you, you just love to hear these words of appreciation, and revived my confidence and self-belief. Self-belief means self-confidence. Okay, my confidence and self-belief. Belief means विश्वास ही होता है, ओके, ट्रस्ट होता है, मेरे अंदर मेरा खुद का विश्वास लौट आया, वही सेल्फ कॉन्फिडेंस लौट आया। ओके, सो दैट्स इट फॉर टुडे। अभी आज हम इसको इतना ही करेंगे, एंड द रेस्ट ऑफ द पार्ट वी विल बी डूइंग टुमारो। नाउ नेक्स्ट 5 minutes आर फॉर यू टू डिस्कस योर डाउट्स इफ यू हैव एनी। ओके,